All right, I'll call the Cascade Charter Township Planning Commission to order for Monday, January 22nd, 24. Record the attendance that all are present. Moving on to Article 2, the Pledge of Allegiance. Please stand. It's right here. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, let's move on to Article 3. Approve the current agenda. Do I hear a motion?
So move.
Moved by Member Rissy, supported by Member Engel. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Hearing none opposed, we'll move forward. Article 4, while we have no topic that we're covering, does anybody wish to disclose a conflict of interest? Also, Maddie, we need to do that. I think, are we doing that at the end too? Never mind. Does anybody have a wish to disclose a conflict of interest?
No.
It'd be weird. All right. Moving on
To be a big problem.
I don't even know how I would address
I
it.
don't want to disclose it.
Yeah, that's fair. I have many conflicts with you people. Moving on.
See you too.
Yes. Moving on to Article 5. Approve the minutes of the December 18th, 2023 meeting.
Make a motion to approve.
Member,
Few edits.
member, yeah, go ahead, member.
Let's see here, Article 7. Right, so there's a paragraph motion by Member Rissy, and then Member Rissy, a paragraph above that. That was a weird turn of events that day. If we could just make a notation in there that, I don't know how best to summarize it.
What are you
They
saying?
were, I guess basically I commended them on coming within 5% of 3 separate buildings put together. And then we ended up inflating it to a larger number.
You want it noted that you said that specifically?
Yeah, if you could.
Okay.
Article 8, first paragraph. It says the commission was proposed to remove from the township zoning ordinance and transfer to the Michigan Planning and Enabling Act. I don't think Michigan Planning and Enabling Act is what's not what it's transferred to. It's the enabler. So I think we want to say transferred to a police power ordinance. It's not transferred to the Planning and Enabling Act. It's transferred to a police power ordinance in
Correct.
association with the Michigan Planning and Enabling Act. Or
According to
Yeah.
the Michigan
Of course, sure.
Planning and Aid.
Correct.
Sure. How about that?
I like it.
Okay.
Yes. Got it.
Article 9, second sentence, they have been discussing uses and special rights allowed in agricultural, rural preservation and farmland preservation. I think we want to say,
Conservation, not preservation for the first.
yes, ARC, agricultural, rural conservation. And then the next sentence, navigating how to incentivize farmers to utilize a preservation program. I think farmers and builders, I think that was kind of the point that was kind of our revelation. We were showing the commission that we're expanding beyond farmland preservation.
Okay.
Where's that? I'm sorry.
That was the very next line.
I'll verify that that was said. If it was, then I'll put both.
In the last pyramid. Oh, I see.
So,
Incentivize.
Navigating
Farmers.
Gotcha. Okay, thank you.
Yep, no problem. And then I think we also, in that kind of that same sentence, it says inspired by Grattan Township. And I believe we also mentioned in Lancaster, Pennsylvania, because I think that's,
Yes.
I agree with that.
Correct.
Yeah.
And then just the final one, the last sentence, the subcommittee would like to work with McKenna moving forward and was approved to do so by the chair, I believe. I think we got the go ahead to engage McKenna, but not the legal side. So we got one of our 2 asks approved, I believe.
I've been told that we have been granted the ability to use McKenna. Is that your understanding too, Maddie?
That we have?
Yes.
Yes.
It just says we made a motion or say,
I don't think it was a formal motion.
okay, whatever. It says that we asked, and I think we should finish the sentence there, and it was approved or blessed or whatever terminology.
I see. Okay, yes.
That's all I have.
All right.
So I'm gonna say that member Brunel made the motion with the amendments and member Rissy supported it.
That'd be fine.
You said Rissy supported?
Yes. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, move on.
Well, usually don't tell me I'm supportive, so I
You know,
like being in that role occasionally.
Supportive.
You're supportive. Thanks.
All right. Article 6, acknowledge visitors and those wishing to speak.
Full house.
Anybody on Zoom? All right. I'm gonna move Article 7 to after Article 9. So we'll do 8 and 9 and then we'll go to 7. Chairman's prerogative. So with that, Maddie, do you want to give us the 2023 Planning Department Annual Report?
Yeah, do you want me to do it from here? Or do you want me to go up there?
Feel like you should come up here.
Up there? Oh. Okay.
You may have questions.
All right. So each year, the planning department provides an annual report for the prior year to kind of commemorate the work that's been done by all parties. So I won't read the full letter, but the planning department is presenting their 2023 annual report today. The planning department consists of the planning and zoning administration. Obviously, we know we've had some staff changes this year, so we are also working with McKenna now to support us, and Maddie and I are the planning department as of now. We did see a good number of applications this year for development. The 2023 Planning Department reviewed a total of 45 new development requests and 9 lot split requests for a total of 54 cases. And we do have a table included that compares us to years past. It seems we've kind of surpassed some of those pandemic-related supply chain issues, and people are kind of back to their normal swing of development and building, both residential and seemingly commercial. We did have that table to summarize the attendance of our planning commission members and our ZBA members. So you guys can compare that chart there after what you were talking about earlier. We did have a member, Wendy, who was appointed as treasurer for Board of Trustees, which created go ahead.
In your chart, her name is misspelled.
It should be KOR, not
Right.
KRO.
Yeah, you might want to fix that.
I will.
She's moved up.
Yes.
And as long as we're fixing that and we're up at the top for, I guess, parallelism, you have planning commission and you mentioned like people who've left and you mentioned that Brian left. Should we make a note of Ken Pierce treasurer and when he left?
He wasn't on the planning commission.
This is a planning department report.
No. On your page 2 of your report, you list this.
Pardon?
On
Where are
page
you
2
looking?
of your report, you list members
Mm-hmm.
and you
Of the
make-
planning commission.
In the
and the
township
township
board.
board and the zoning board.
Oh, all members, yes.
You've made notations of when people left, but you did not do the same for Ken Pierce.
I can add him on there.
Trustee Nordhook, did you have something?
Yeah, I just got a message, we're not on Zoom,
What do you mean?
we're not broadcasting on Zoom right now.
It's not connected?
You are connected?
Yeah, I'll tell Grace she's on the wrong Zoom meeting.
I can't check because we still don't have internet on our computer.
Maddie confirmed Grace. Oh. I'm not sure. We did double check all the.
If Grace can get on.
We
then-
do have attendees.
Not great.
No, but Grace is on. So if Grace can
Is she
get on.
on?
Yeah,
Okay.
Leslie, didn't-
I don't think so.
All right, sorry to set you back.
okay.
But then Wendy should be in this list as well for township board, right?
Right. I think that's what,
Be added in.
I think
Yes,
that's what
I made
Member
that
Bruno was saying is that it says Pierce, but it doesn't say.
Right.
When?
The board list wasn't updated on that sheet.
Yeah.
Which I made the edits on now.
And
Thank
then-
you. Go ahead.
Swap Scott and Joe on that list. Looks formal. You've got your chair, vice chair, secretary.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I should be
I saw
under,
that.
and Timmy should be under secretary, and then we should have all of our usual folks.
I do it alphabetically.
I should be down a couple,
Okay.
way down.
He should be under Timmy.
No, Bruno should be under Timmy, then it should be,
It's in order of importance.
no, it should be in order of
All right, I'm really regretting it.
the alphabet.
Okay, noted. You would like it in order of officer and then alphabetical.
First one.
Yeah, I think it looks better that way.
And on the ZBA, I'm the chair and the planning commission rep.
Yeah, I can't, you are the chair.
Ralph became chair this past year. That's correct.
Excuse me.
Okay. I've also provided a summary of our committees that we've been appointing this year. So we've got our Farmland Preservation Subcommittee that's been doing work in researching methods for saving farmland from development or supporting farmers, and also researching ordinances that the township can adopt to support those. The committee is expected to complete their work this year, but a deadline wasn't set. We also have a master plan committee that's been working with McKenna to review the township's existing master plan, and they're projecting to adopt an amended master plan in 2024 after it's brought to the planning commission and to the board. We also have been continuing our regional planning efforts in working with Grand Valley Metro Council and other organizations, as well as utilizing the Regis website for access to land information. And then we also have the Village Design Review Committee that has reconvened this past year as we have had new development. Yes.
Under the Farmland Preservation Subcommittee, I'm
Mhm.
wondering if we shouldn't incorporate the words open space in there also. Because they seem to kind of go together, and that seems to be a big part of what we talk about. So maybe under where you say supporting farmers, comma, open space and ordinances that support these goals. Might be a good spot to put that in. Does the rest of the group kind of agree with that, or?
Green space.
Green space, open space, something, because I think what I'm seeing far too often is that people are thinking that we're specifically just looking at saving a farm. And I think
We've
we're
expanded that.
talking in a much broader picture, but the name of the group was the Farmland Preservation Subcommittee, so.
Mhm.
I agree, but that's what we expanded to. As it's written, it says the planning commission created a farmland preservation to research saving farmland, and I think that's correct. I don't think they created us to look at open space.
Right, and that's why I said, that's why I was saying we should just, the sentence that says the ends and to support these goals, that's why I was saying just add the words open space in that sentence because it's supportive
Mhm.
of. is a
I can
supportive part of
wordsmith
the
it to make sense.
goal. So it's
in
not
that
saying the
way.
focus is green space or open space, but it's saying that's, just like updating an ordinance,
But
that's
what about
part.
the last sentence? This committee is expected, this committee has expanded to include open space and is
Sure.
expected to complete.
Sure, I don't care. I just think that we should make some reference to it
Like-
because we even have staff that are asking questions about if we're
Trust you over
incorporating that
years.
or not.
Concerned we've gone off in the weeds.
No, I didn't hear anything about weeds, but I mean, I can get some ortho out. if
Come
we
on,
need
you
to.
gotta get a smirk out of you.
Okay.
Yeah.
Got it.
I won't bother you anymore.
Oh, you're fine, you guys.
Chat with the report.
We want to have a good document,
So to that end,
Just-
under accomplishments, there is a blank under other requests, like all the other years have 0.
Where are you looking?
There's not page numbers that I can.
Oh,
see.
yes, sorry, it should say 0.
But more importantly, I believe that that column adds to 54, not 53. So I don't know if there's maybe supposed to be a 1 there.
It should say 54 because that's what my narrative says.
That's what she's. Oh, yeah, correct.
Okay. That's the conclusion. The rest is just the table showing all the cases that we had for the year. A summary table. So are there any other edits before we pass this along to the board?
Do we have any movement on a planning director?
We have had a couple, we had an interview last week. We have one this week. Maybe two this week. So some good prospects, I believe.
So we're thinking hopefully March.
I haven't been given a time,
Okay.
but we have also adopted the contract with McKenna that has expanded their capacity. So they now support our planning department with 1 day a week of office hours. So that I have some support for the more bigger reviews that we do for commercial.
Good.
Yeah, I'm excited about it.
I can imagine.
I just,
Scott, are you gonna ask your normal question?
No,
No, you good enough?
I've,
I think it would be smart to. I don't want to hire somebody just to hire somebody, but I think we need to make a priority of it, right? I mean, the longer a planning director position goes vacant.
I think it's a priority.
It is a priority.
I mean.
Yeah, we talk,
Okay.
I get updates.
You don't know what I'm referring to?
Yeah, we don't want to just hire someone who's
I'm
not.
gonna play Scott for a second here though, so. He normally mentions at this point that he thought the planning commission should meet. The individual before hiring, is that kind of what you're?
well, we had discussed that at one point, but I think that was one of those things that we discussed that never got. I thought that was in
There
some
was
process implementation.
recommendations, yes.
And my understanding is township board voted to approve those process implementations, but I don't know if they actually did because we haven't been part of the process, so.
So can we ask the question? It's when it's down to like one or two, will we meet? Do we have any?
It's not up to me, but I did look into this because you mentioned the process recommendations that
Well, it was
came.
actually his idea initially. You even used the example to Brian, when you leave, we would like, as a joke, not expecting him to be leaving so soon. What's the theory? But that was how that came up in conversation.
Yes, all I could track down was that it was a recommendation, nothing was formally adopted, but that's all I could
Okay.
find.
A
So,
new weapon. His name's Jade Smith. Feel good.
I can make a request. Happy to.
I have zero background. I just was surprised I didn't hear that topic come up, so I thought I'd light that fire again and see where it goes.
Okay,
I thought I said plenty in the last meeting, so I didn't think I needed to hash out all details again.
No resolution has been made, so I don't think it's been
There's
achieved.
a lot of things that haven't been resolved.
Will the new manager be coming before us to talk about the capital improvement budget?
he can, I can ask him to.
That is required, I think, by statute. If you could look into that.
Okay,
And then we can inform him that he needs to. It hasn't happened for the last 2 years. An
that's
oversight.
right. Yeah, I do recall something like that. Any other edits for the annual report?
Well done for your first one.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Thank you very much.
It's a lot of work.
Does anybody have any questions about the calendar? I mean, we clearly have already made one change with this meeting. Anybody want to see anything or recommend anything different?
Well, I do know that we typically don't meet the first week in April. And I'm assuming that'll be a problem for some people. I guess it's not for myself, but generally we don't have a meeting. So I was surprised when that calendar came out because it had that in there and
and
we
I thought-
we don't normally meet then.
The July 1 is the other one that surprised me, so.
Oh, no.
But I would suggest moving that April 1st to, the 22nd. I think that's a Monday.
And that still gives us 15 days, 14 days between those two meetings.
Is that why there's only one in September? something to do with Labor Day? Like we don't just move it?
You said
The
move
1st of
April
April.
1st to the 8th?
22nd.
Oh, sorry. So the 15th and the 22nd of April.
Yeah, and then same thing with, when is the holiday weekend?
July 4th is Thursday.
The first isn't an issue then.
Yeah. So leave the July 1st one?
Yeah, I think that was
Okay.
fine. Unless anybody else has an objection, the first week of April, Ryan, we haven't typically done it, just as
No, that
a,
was a question
Yeah.
but on that logic, is that why there's only one in September?
I think there has something to do with the elections, I think.
I think you're right.
When is
I
Juneteenth?
think it has to do with Labor Day.
When's Juneteenth?
Isn't it the 13th?
Is it the 13th? Okay, I just didn't, I want to make sure that we're not, because that's a federal.
Well, that's why we're here today and not
Yeah,
the original time.
because I'm looking at my calendar. Flag Day's on the 14th.
Juneteenth is June 19th.
19th. Okay, so we're good.
2nd of September.
I think it might be observed on the Monday though,
Memorial Day would be Labor Day.
I don't know.
but I think it might be the
That's what's not
17th.
there.
But don't we usually push it out a week or we just?
It says the 19th on the calendar and then
But it may be observed on Monday.
Yeah, let me look.
Kind of like Memorial Day.
But it is, we can move it. The supervisor sent me a text and asked me to inform everyone that she is asking several members of the planning commission to be involved in the interview process. So more to come on that. Message received and
Good. Fantastic.
As far as I can find, it looks like Juneteenth is celebrated on June 19th. But obviously we can address that.
Sure. Meeting once in September.
yeah, I think it's Joe established as the holiday.
It's Labor Day.
Okay.
Yeah, and then I think elections like later get in the middle of that too. So
When are elections in November? Is November 4th an election night?
no, it's never Monday. Always Tuesday.
Tuesday.
Juneteenth is the 19th.
Yeah.
Right, but if the general election is on the, what day is the general election? Because if it's the 5th, we can't have this room on the 4th.
I think it's the 12th, isn't it?
Isn't it the second Tuesday?
I think.
I've got, let's see,
First.
election day, the 5th is what it says
Yeah.
on my
We
calendar.
usually don't meet the first week in November because of that. This room will not be available on the 4th.
I recall that as well. I can verify with Jen Jagger.
We could always have it at the new fire station if they'll host us. That might be kind of fun.
Ooh.
They've got the room for it.
Do we get to slide down the pole?
We don't have one. It's
How can you have a fire station without a pole? What is this, Russia?
We couldn't afford it.
Couldn't afford it.
All right.
Plenty of Dutch, but no poles.
Okay, I think we got the calendar taken care of. Let's move back to
That's good, Joe.
Article 7, election of officers. We have
are good.
a chair, vice chair, secretary, and then we need to nominate a member to serve on the ZBA. And we need to nominate a member to be on the village.
Design Review Board.
Thank you. So let's do these one by one. Let's start
I have a
with,
question.
yes,
I just have a comment.
yep,
I think it's premature. The supervisor hasn't made her appointments yet,
yep.
and 3 members have their terms that expired. And we have 1 vacant seat, so we really don't know who's sitting on this commission until she makes her appointments. But I think it wouldn't hurt to put this off 1 month.
Can I continue to, the 3 of us continue to serve because we're term limited out? That'd be my only,
Yeah,
Question.
it is. You're allowed to do that, but we don't know if you're going to continue to serve.
Right,
until
but
she
you-
makes her appointment.
sure, no,
I think because of chapter 23 though,
I think we're required. That's
Choose
my concern.
for-
Yeah, you're still on.
No,
Or
like,
to have the election.
I don't think that,
I think it's required the first meeting of
yeah, I don't
January.
think we can continue to serve because we're term limited out. Does that make sense? Because I'm term limited out
No,
as
that's-
chairman.
in an officer position,
Officer
you're not
position.
term limited out in
Correct.
as a commission, but as an
Correct.
officer, you're.
As an officer, I think,
Right. we've always done it at this meeting, and in the past, even when we had the previous supervisor, there were people that disappeared at the next meeting, and you just did it again, shuffled them around.
It does, our current ordinance does state that the election of officers shall take place at the first meeting in January.
Yeah.
And we are currently operating under this ordinance.
We don't have. a
I'm
choice.
I'm not opposed to waiting, Timmy. My concern is if it's not legal and some developer starts squawking that what we did, like,
Just pointing it out.
no, I think it's a legitimate concern.
Mhm.
Making, yeah.
You know, and, you know, Scott, Joe and I are all up, for reappointment and, that hasn't happened. So, we, continue to serve until those appointments happen. So, but yeah, I don't know.
I'm just putting it out there for you.
I guess my thought is,
Things can change.
Yeah, without a doubt.
yeah, I mean, I guess my thought would be, let's say the three of you guys are, you know, appointed to officer positions and two of you aren't renewed by her, then we just reappoint those two positions. That would be, and then we're still following I'm just saying as whatever.
It's a temporary measure.
Well, even if it's not, you know, you're, as of today, you're the chair, and if you're not renewed for another term, then we need to fill the chair in the next meeting.
I would agree with that.
Yeah, I
We
just,
comply with.
and that complies with everything.
All right, let's go.
Okay. Let's start, with the chair. Do I hear a, nomination, for the chair position? Somebody like to
Do
make,
we nominate?
For the temporary or for the long term?
for the long,
You would have
for
to.
the long term, assuming that the person, yeah.
Okay, I'll make a
nominate
nomination.
Ralph.
Let,
He's not
let Ralph make a nomination.
Just a second.
Yep.
I'd like to nominate Scott for the chairman position. I know he's done it in the past. He does a great job for us. He knows the history of the community. He provides great leadership. And I would gladly serve under him again.
I'll second.
So I hear a nomination, a support for, member Rissy. Scott, would you serve?
Yes,
Okay.
thank
Do
you for the kind words.
Can we have discussion?
we can, I want to get all the nominations and then we can have discussion.
Okay.
Do I hear any other nominations for chair? I thought I interrupted you earlier. I apologize.
Oh,
for that.
I was gonna nominate Moxley.
I second that,
So,
but I don't second yours.
okay. I hear a motion or a nomination by member Richardson, for member Moxley and support for member Rowland. Member Moxley, would you serve?
Yes, I would. I'd willingly serve.
Okay. Do I hear any other nominations
For chair, right?
for chair? Your discussion?
So my thought, and this is just why my squirrel brain works, would be move the vice chair to the chair position, move Scott to the vice chair position. Then theoretically, when the chair position is up, move the vice chair into the chair, right? And so it's a constant continuity. And again, we have the choice to do that.
I would disagree with you on that premise because in my opinion, I would move the secretary to the vice chair, not a random person like myself to the vice chair.
Well, and I understand that, but you're not a random person since you probably have more operational knowledge than most of us. So that's why, I mean, it lists this way, it covers us for, how long does the chair serve? Is it 2 years, 1 year?
You can only serve for two, but we do this every year. So you would have to be revoted in.
Is this Chris's second year?
Correct.
Okay, so
Term limited out as Ralph, I believe, is term limited out as vice chair.
my thought would that would at least cover us for the next 4 years with somebody that knows, has a lot, with two people that have a lot of knowledge on how to run the show.
I was following you completely, but I feel like we've missed out on member Engel, Joe. As Scott was referring to, wouldn't you move the whole slate up together? Scott was saying like,
Well, let's,
So there's, I'm gonna just stick with the chair.
yeah, I was just gonna say, let's stick with the
Stick with
chair.
the chair. I think that planning commission this year potentially could face is going to face some rather unique circumstances. And I think there's potentially going to be a change from 9 to 7 members. I think we are going to have a year where we are going to be training to some extent a brand new planning director. And I support Scott because of his significant experience on this panel, his institutional knowledge. If you spend any time with him, whether you agree with everything that he says or not, he knows this township far better than I think anybody sitting at this panel does. And he brings a lot of wealth of knowledge and experience. And given the transitional nature of this year with potentially the change in size, and the new planning director, I personally would feel very comfortable having Scott lead us. Now, if something changes with the size and Scott doesn't get reappointed, then I guess we address that at that point. But I'll be an optimist at this point and hope that Scott gets reappointed and can move forward. Joe Ingles, 2 cents.
Thank you.
The other thing I would say is that Ralph his seat isn't up for reappointment. So by making him the chair, at least that position, we don't have to redo, right? And here's the thing, if you put Ralph in the vice chair and Scott in the chair, and I'm just talking devil's advocate, Scott doesn't get renewed, great. Now we got to fill the chair with somebody who isn't as senior as Ralph, right? So it hedges our bets a little bit.
In theory, the vice chair
Knowledgeable.
would take the chair.
Oh, yeah, Ralph could move to the chair, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
You'd be nominating a new secretary technically. Because the vice chair would, well, I thought this is the.
Vice chair, if Ralph, if Scott takes the chair, Ralph can't be vice chair for the first 2 minutes. If somebody else filled the vice chair seat and that person didn't get renominated, then Ralph could come in, but you can't have 3 consecutive terms
Right.
as vice chair, if that makes sense.
It does. If the chair were to be removed for one reason or another, okay, the vice chair would take the chair's position, correct?
No, we would vote on that.
Well, that's right.
I'm asking, I don't know.
If the planning commissioner
know.
voted to change him to chair or her.
Is it-
If
there
we
a
lose a
vote?
member, do we do this all over again?
Yes,
Or is
it
it
was voted on.
self-fulfilling?
It was.
Everything
The
shuffles
vice
according to
chair-
the stack of rules.
Continued
Depends on
to
who you-
chair the meetings until we held a vote to nominate a chair.
Got it. So this happened before. I'm just trying to understand what we did when that happened.
Ralph, how many years have you been vice chair? I'm sorry, Ryan. How many?
He's two.
He's termed out.
He's termed out. Joe is not, but the rest of us are.
So
Yes. Yes, member Bruno.
Hands down, Scott brings more institutional knowledge than anybody on this board. I don't think anybody here can debate that. I'm even gonna still play the newbie card. I mean, even as the newbie, it's so obvious. However, no one else is ever gonna get that if we don't give them an opportunity. And while I understand that we're gonna have a new planning director, and Scott might be able to help with that, I don't think Scott would not help in a different role. And I like diversity of thought, and right now, and I don't know if he'd maybe give up, but right now Scott's on pretty much everything. I don't know what he does in his spare time, but he's architectural review committee, pathway committee, farmland preservation committee, and this. I'm pretty confident that the new planning director will know Scott and his point of view and everything he brings, because he's here all the time. So I think regardless of whether he becomes chair or not, he will have an intimate firsthand relationship with a new planning director.
All right, let's do the vote. Madison, if you don't mind going down the line and just call the roll. And let's
Can we hear the motion again?
the motion for chair, and we have nominations for member Rissy and member Moxley.
So we're supposed to say their name, or are we gonna do one at a time?
I think we say their name, unless anybody disagrees.
yeah, no, I
with
think
that.
that's good.
Yeah.
Before we start, I just want to say that I agree with everything everyone just said about Scott. I appreciate you, even though I'm not gonna vote for you.
I freaking love it. Removed all the drama.
I love it. I might vote for you now.
Wow.
We all love you.
I feel the love.
But I do agree with everything everyone just said. I honestly do. And I think you'd be a great choice.
An address pops up and you know the name mind blowing. Awesome.
That's not from chairing a meeting, though. That's from working here for 46 years.
Let's do this.
Member Nordhook,
Mr. Moxley,
Member Richardson,
Mr. Moxley.
Member Bruno,
Mr. Moxley,
Member Moxley,
Mr. Reese,
Chair Nordike,
Member Rissy,
Member Engel,
Member Rissy,
Member Rissy,
Member Rissy?
Member Roland,
Moxley.
where's our ninth?
So then who would make the final, then the supervisor?
no, we're gonna get there tonight. Let's have some additional discussion on this. Member Moxley or Member Rissy, do either of you wish to withdraw?
I do.
I think that's the wrong move.
I agree. You can't be vice, but you can be vice.
So
Again, I think you moving to chair and Scott moving to vice, it sets us up for the next 4 years. We keep knowledge on the two key positions are knowledge for the next 4 years. No matter what happens with the rest of us, we keep you and Joe, the three, you and Chris and Scott are probably the most knowledgeable people in the room. Joe is the fourth, right? So it keeps two of the most knowledgeable people in the seats for 4 years.
So Joe, are we inferring that we're basically saying chair and vice chair possibly. Well, it sounds like we've got Scott and
And I would keep,
Moxley for chair, and we're making inferences that then one of them would be vice chair. Are you not interested in vice chair, or are you?
here is my procedural thought on that.
Okay.
If you make Scott chair, you could make me vice chair. I may not be here when chapter 23 is amended in and the size of the planning commission altered. If that's the case, and if I were elected as vice chair tonight, Ralph could come back at that point easily as vice chair and be next in line for chair.
Is that
After
same
this-
true for?
Because there would be a break in the continuity of his service as vice chair. And whether if I'm done in 6 weeks, Ralph moves right back in as vice chair. I suppose the same would be true as Scott, as if Scott were not reelected. as
can
well.
he do that?
Yes.
If he was, okay, so he's just gotta be out of vice chair. and then he can move back.
Can't serve a consecutive term.
What is the reason to have a term limit if there's this giant loophole? Where you can just.
That's the way it's written.
Yeah,
it's just how it's written.
strange.
So can we think this through? So is there a way?
I mean, at this point, Member
I've
Moxley-
enjoyed Chris as the chair. So if we have this loophole system,
I don't think a lot of people, right, perhaps you do appreciate, there's a lot of work to be the chair. And 2 years was a great run, so,
yeah, you're good.
appreciate that, but yeah. So Member Moxley has withdrawn, as chair. So we have a single motion for Member Rissy. Are there any other motions or any other nominations?
Chair.
Yes,
discussion.
yeah.
Scott, I don't know, a lot of numbers have been thrown around, but how many terms have you served on the planning commission?
I believe 3.
I believe you're on
I
your
believe I
fourth.
just finished my 3rd term because Brian said he was going to correct that because it says in the bylaws that you have to serve a certain amount of time for it to count as a term. And I think I served for the remaining 6 months of Karen McCarthy's term prior to my first full term. So that 6 months doesn't count as a full term.
So 3 then?
So I think I've been sitting up here for 10 years, basically, which would be 3
The
terms
record
and a
says
portion.
fourth term, but we can look into it.
Yeah. I mean, I could be wrong on that, but I believe I've had 3 full terms and then part of the remainder of Karen McCarthy's.
now your
Okay.
question, is there some magic if it was 4 versus 3.5 versus 3.3.
No, not at all. I'll be open. I would say that whether I'm reappointed here or not, I will probably try to run for a vacancy that is going to be on the township board in the fall. And so there's a possibility come November that I may or may not be here, because if I obviously won that vacancy, then there'd be.
So again, do we really, so like, why would we, like, and no, and great, good for you. But why would we want to do that to ourselves? Like, Ralph, please come back in, put you in chair. At least keep that position stable, right? Like, we don't know what's going on, right? I mean, and not to put you on the spot, but and we try and do the honorable thing, but why are you withdrawing? I mean, if you don't want it, you don't want it.
Well, as I stated earlier, I feel Scott is more knowledgeable about community history and community businesses and the history of the Planning Commission. And just watching him in action for the last 6 years or whatever it's been, I feel confident that he does a great job as chair.
And can I make a point to that? And Ralph does an amazing amount of work behind the scenes. As you know, he does a phenomenal job on the back end of things. And I think he and I make a great team. I mean, we've had some committees together, and he handles a lot of the backside of the stuff. And I think I do a pretty good job running a meeting. And I think we would make a really good team doing that.
I'm not bashing you at all, and I'm not pushing on you at all. I have a lot of respect for you. I think you know your stuff. I'm just trying to set us up for 4 solid years.
Sure, when I was chairman.
Yeah.
I think, I do it. I just,
yeah.
And are you,
Everybody agrees with that, Scott.
Everybody agrees
You
with
have
that.
knowledge, you
yeah,
have your
I think we're just trying to grow the
experience.
team, like.
I
we like
get
the
that.
team.
I am not putting up a
You, I think,
fight.
is good.
The other concern I have is if he goes into chair, like all the subcommittees that he's so valuable on, he's in chair, which is as.
Well,
Chris
no,
said, a great time.
hang on a minute. I served on those subcommittees because that was the agreement that Chris had. If he
Right.
became chair, I was gonna do the subcommittees, and then
Right.
the next chair was gonna was the next past chair was going to take all the subcommittees. So he will be past chair now, so subcommittees will fall on him.
Okay.
That's the only reason I've had these subcommittees the last 2 years.
If he's
I
still
didn't
here.
want them.
If he's still here.
Right. So, but that was the way we designed that, was subcommittees would be chaired by the past chairman. And I was the past chairman, so I
Nothing against.
stepped up and did what I was told.
Nothing against Scott. I'm just trying to set us up for 4 years, right? 4 solid years. And I think by putting Ralph in the chair and Scott in the vice, it just sets us up for the next 4 years, at least to have continuity.
I would agree with that.
And Ralph, I wish you'd come back in and change your vote and let's move on to the vice.
Is legal counsel on Zoom, just out of curiosity? No? I'd be curious what they would say as to what happens if you have a tie.
I think I read you guys do an Indian leg wrestle and whoever wins.
I don't even know what that is. I can't Google it because I don't have the internet.
The leg, the Indian wrestling with the leg.
Not rock, paper, scissors?
I don't think
It's not addressed.
then the matter being considered shall be deemed to have been denied.
Right.
Yeah,
That's for voting on.
That's a
that's
motion,
necessarily
if
for
it carries or
election
not.
law.
Yeah.
Interesting.
All right,
That's why we're
shall I make a
supposed to have 9
statement?
people.
Yeah, go ahead, please do.
I'll re-enter the contest here. I'm willing to
Let's
serve, and happy to serve.
All right, let's do another round.
All right.
Maddie,
For
starting, yes.
Okay, member Norfolk,
Mr. Moxley.
Richardson,
Moxley.
Bruno,
Moxley.
Moxley.
Yep, sorry, I lost my voice. Moxley.
No, I'm asking
Oh.
for Moxley's vote.
Moxley,
Nordike,
Moxley.
Engel,
Mr. Moxley.
Mr. Reese,
Moxley.
Roland.
Just so you don't feel skunked, Rissy.
Okay.
I was happy all along.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Congratulations, Ralph.
All right, let's move on to vice chair. Do I hear any?
I nominate Scott Rissy for vice
Second.
chair.
All right, so I hear a nomination
Joe?
from member Roland and supported
Keep him in
by member
secretary
Engel
another
for
year.
vice chair
and then
for
move him.
member Rissy. Do I hear any other nominations? And member Rissy, would you serve if not, if elected? Sure. Okay. I hear any other nominations?
I get it.
I think Mr. Bruno should be advised.
Okay, I hear a motion.
I would only accept it if Scott, you're uninterested in being vice chair.
He just said he was, but
I'll do it, but
yeah, okay.
you really
So-
want it?
I do not really want it, so. Aspire to that, that's.
So is there, I heard a motion. Is there support for it?
I seconded.
For member Brunel to be vice chair?
Oh, no, I'm sorry.
Can I second even though I nominated?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll second that. Or did you second it?
I nominated Mr. Bruno.
Okay, so then I'll second that.
That's nomination.
What's that? Scott did. I'm gonna ask him after we
Oh.
get
It's an
this.
interesting way of doing this. We've never done it like this.
How do we usually do it?
We just have a slate of nominations. and
Yeah.
quick and
We
deep,
just
but
say,
I
if
didn't
you
think.
want, somebody says, I say Alan should do it. And we say, okay, I'll, you know.
Well, first of all, nobody would ever say that, so.
Member Brunel, you've been nominated. If you wish to serve, if voted on, would you serve?
We don't create competition. We create a tie.
like, I resign.
I guess if voted on, sure, I guess I
Okay,
can.
okay.
If voted on.
So we have nominations for member Rissy and member Brunel. Any other nominations? All right, Maddie, you know the drill. Let's do this.
Nordhook,
We wanna have conversation?
Do we need to have conversation?
You know, it's good. Do you want
You have to
vice?
get
Or do you not
Then I'll
want
do it.
vice?
I'll do vice chair. I, like you said, I think Ralph and I make a good team and
Okay.
I think I can
Okay.
help him and.
Okay.
Am I ready?
Yeah.
Mr. Rizzi,
Richardson,
Scott, how do you pronounce your last name?
Rissy.
Okay.
Rissy.
Rizzoli.
member Bruno,
Rissy.
Moxley,
Scott.
Nordhook,
Rissy.
Engel,
Member Rissy.
Rissy,
Rissy.
Roland,
Ryan. So yeah, I don't want you to feel skunked. I don't want you to feel skunked, bro.
Fairness, did the
I don't
same
want
thing
you to feel
Scott.
skunked.
That was beautiful. And maybe that's why he teed me up.
I didn't realize we were.
Okay, secretary. Do I hear a nomination? Do I hear, I see a pointing.
Who's the,
Yeah.
who's the current secretary? I'm sorry.
Joe.
Joe.
Oh, but he's not gonna
He
remain.
can, he
secretary?
can. He's only been for a year.
Oh, I nominate.
That seemed like a question, like.
I mean, like,
Oh.
Joe, then it was like.
I didn't mean to like inflect it in that way. Mr. Engel.
Am
All
I
right.
allowed to?
Best meeting ever.
Do I hear support? Support from member Mox.
we might as well nominate the guy that's always correcting them.
Yeah.
That's
Oh, it's gonna be, Lord, what are you doing? Trying to get me to lose another vote? He nominates me in the.
Member Engel, will you serve if voted on?
Sure.
All right, so we've got member Engel. Do I hear any additional nominations?
Okay, just.
Yeah,
All
Mr. Ryan.
So trustee Nordhook appoints member Brunel. Do I hear any other nomination or do I hear support?
I'll support that.
Yeah,
Supported
Yeah.
by member Rissy. Member Brunel, will you serve if elect or voted on?
No,
No. All right.
not as secretary? No?
Now we're down to Engel. Any other? All right. All those in favor of member Engel remaining as secretary, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing
Abstain.
none.
I'm kidding.
We need a ZBA representative. Member Moxley has served as the ZBA representative for quite a few years now. I think you can he continue as chair?
I don't know.
I don't think there's any limitation.
I don't know if there is or isn't. I just been asking the question. I don't think there is. Is there, Maddie, that you're aware of?
I'm looking.
I don't think there is, but I don't know. I have a long
We can do a vote
wanted
and if
that
we need
spot,
to
too.
come back and.
You what?
Yeah.
You've spent time.
I always want, no, I've never been on the ZBA. That's one thing I've always
Okay.
wanted to do.
I'm happy to
I don't
continue
believe
to
there's a
serve.
conflict of that.
Okay, cool. I hear a motion, do I hear a nomination for the ZBA? I'll make one. I'll nominate, member Moxley to continue his.
Let me ask a question. Do you think it would be, and I'm just throwing this out there, like, do you think it would be good to get member Bernal in there to, like, if he wants to learn and get some more experience, I mean, it's,
Member Moxley is the chairman right now, which
oh yeah, so yeah, it probably wouldn't be, then they'd have to vote on new chairman, wouldn't they?
they would, which they could. They could. I'm just putting it, I'm just
Yeah.
presenting all the facts, right?
If he's chair, then.
Moxley's like master plan to take
If he's,
stranglehold on the.
right, if.
But then he's two chairs.
Yeah, if he's two chairs, is that a con?
submit your resume?
Go
Go all the way. Go all the way.
Yeah, Chris,
That is the scenario the attorney outlined.
that's an interesting, he's two
Right.
chairs, he's the chairman of this,
I
and then he's
know.
the chairman of the appeals, and then would that be?
Oh, he'd have to, anything that's in the planning commission, he has to abstain from anyway, as I understand. it.
Right, that's when the vice chair would then oversee the meeting at the ZBA and then they'd call him the alternate.
Yeah.
Right? Okay.
One thing I remember, I think there's a statement, we have to genuflect when we see him next time, if he's chair of both, something like that.
Yeah. I think there's not to that.
Do we have to call him your eminence?
Just, no, you just have to lower your eyes.
Your eminence,
Yeah.
your grace, do we have to kiss the ring?
Yeah.
You're right.
So I made a motion to nominate, member Moxley. Do I hear support?
Support.
Support, member Engel, support, member Moxley, will you serve?
Yes, I will.
Any additional nominations? Do you want to nominate?
Yeah, no, Ryan, do you want to do it?
What is the commitment? Is it twice a month, just like this? Is it once a month?
No, it's once a month and the meetings are usually less than half an hour. They're pretty brief. I'm in charge.
Like these
They're less-
meetings.
They're less than half an hour.
And do you have?
And that's with
someone-
him chairing.
Do you have someone in a position that would want to become chair
Or could,
or could?
Or should?
or
Well,
should?
Valerie is vice chair, I believe, right now. Valerie Milliken. And she would fill into that position.
But would that be a? Would that be a,
I've never seen her run a meeting,
okay,
so I can't say.
Yes, perfect.
So
Be the first time.
member Roland made a nomination for member Brunel. Do I hear support?
Support.
Support from trustee Nordhook and trustee Engel. Member Brunel, would you serve?
I would serve, sure.
Okay. Let's do it.
This is for ZBA.
Yep.
Okay, Nordhook,
Yes.
No.
Name.
Say a name of who you're not.
Present. Nordhook.
No.
Moxley or Bruno?
Bruno.
Richardson,
Moxley.
Bruno,
member Bruno.
Moxley.
Moxley,
Moxley.
Nordike,
Moxley.
Engel,
No.
Reese,
Moxley.
Roland,
Bruno,
Moxley, wins.
yeah, 5-3, I think.
I think you would do a great job at it, Ryan. I just don't want to upset a chairmanship right now. I know
I
how.
didn't vote for myself, so it's okay.
Who does that? Who accepts the nomination and then doesn't vote for themselves?
Okay, we have the biggest one, the biggest prize last, the Village Design Committee
Ah, yes.
that member Rissy has been serving on,
It's had 2 meetings in the last 10 years.
an abstention for 9 of the last 10 years.
2 meetings in the last 10 years.
I think that's what it's had. I don't know, but
Yeah, but it's coming to life. so
it's coming alive.
I
The
mean,
2 meetings were recent.
Yeah, I think that there'll probably be 6 to 8 meetings a year is what I expect based on what I've seen.
What is the village design committee? I mean, I can figure out, I can parse through those 3 words, but
So anything that's designed in the village, the committee,
it's,
The committee reviews the design of,
Buildings.
buildings and their
Signs.
facades.
Landscape,
Village
buildings.
core area, so we have extra design standards. So when we receive a new application, it goes to the committee to review if they're meeting those design standards we've set for the B1 Village Business District.
Before it would come here.
Yes.
It's kind of just a preliminary review to say, hey, you
Yeah, like when the fire.
gotta move a few
signs
things
off,
around here
be
before you
somewhat
can
Similar. If
move
it-
your application through.
I think they want consistency of design standards from what I've seen, because I serve on it also.
So Scott, for clarification, by your earlier statement, doesn't member Nordic kind of owe that to you to take that? Should I nominate?
Oh,
him?
I was gonna nominate member Allen, because I think he would do a great job on the village.
Sure, 2 meetings in every 10 years, that one, I'll take that nomination.
I don't, I have to do all the subcommittees, right?
Yeah, I'll take it. Yeah, that's fine.
Is there a prescription in terms of Scott not being able to continue on that?
He can absolutely continue. The only one I would say we wouldn't want to nominate is Ralph, because he already serves on it on behalf of the ZBA, so
Yes.
while he is trying to take over, I feel like that might be redundant.
Over the top.
Yes.
Wait a minute, did you nominate me?
Did he vote?
Did
twice?
anybody second?
I made a nomination, member Owens, member Brunel supported it.
Okay. Yeah. I'll serve.
Make a motion to reappoint member Rissy.
Well, thank you, Joe.
Do I hear a support?
For,
All right, member Richardson supports. You both would serve, would you serve, Ron?
Sure. Not that big of a deal.
Any other nominations? We've never had this many nominations for.
This is impressive.
Yeah, I like all the passion.
This is good. It feels good. I like it.
It does. All right, let's do this.
All right, Nordhook,
Rob.
who?
Rob's not.
It's because we were gonna be on.
It was rolling nervous.
Oh, wow. Too many hours here. Oh, rolling.
That was his vote. Keep going.
anything to me about that.
Hang on, he just pointed.
His name is Al.
The big mouth at the end.
He wants roll. Okay.
Is
Richard,
that who you want? Because you pointed at both of them,
No, the guy way in the end.
way in the end.
Alan,
okay, member Richardson?
I choose not to vote on this. Hi.
Bruno?
Chicken.
Did we have discussion before we got here? I don't remember that. Roland.
Moxley?
Alan Rowland.
Tastes horrible coming out of your mouth.
Forsythe?
Alan Roland.
Engel?
Rissy.
Oh, Brucey?
Roland.
Member Roland?
Roland, see, I'll vote for myself.
Roland it is.
This is a good place to put Alan for a little while. I like it.
Yeah, thanks, Rob.
I didn't vote against.
I know, I'm teasing you. I don't.
Do you want to change it back to,
No, it's too late. No, it's too late.
that is one vote. No, we're just making sure everybody gets at least one.
Everybody gets a vote.
Unless Ralph
What
served.
am I gonna do with all this spare
twice
time now?
2 votes, right?
Correct.
She was, he was the planning commission. All right.
Does that commission have the authority to tear down the brewery?
No, that's not in the village.
That is not in the village.
Okay.
Yeah, sorry.
What did you say? Tear down the car.
That's, I have a problem. I'd like to rescind my vote because he doesn't even know where the village is. Can we vote on this again, please? We've clearly picked the wrong guy.
It's already been done. It's already been done.
He will represent us well. All right.
I don't know.
We all can't wait.
We're gonna get sued.
Our Article 10. Is there anybody on Zoom who wishes to, or dares to speak? Oh, they want nothing. All right. Any other business items? Yes,
Yeah.
member Moxley, then member Bernal, then member Rissy, then member Engel.
A farmland preservation this Wednesday, 8 o'clock at the offices of Cascade Township.
That's correct.
I sent you the agenda today, then.
Yes,
You did.
Wednesday.
Scratch my head.
with the packet. Yep.
I don't think it's come to shock to anybody because of my 3 emails, but I thought the whole consternation at our last meeting was about making sure we had something going in parallel. I thought Mr. Homier, if I'm saying that correctly, was going to come with a draft
We talked about that.
bylaws, maybe a draft township down conflict of interest, a draft police ordinance, which I think he said he had already completed. So I guess I'm disappointed that we're not doing what we signed ourselves up to do at the last meeting.
Right, because when we set that date, we said that we would work on that at the same time as the clock ticked towards the date.
Yeah, we had agreed on the 15th.
Yep.
Right.
And I specifically asked if he could come back and report to us at that time, and he said he would.
So
So
what I struggle with is now we're gonna have a public hearing on February 5th. And the public is going to comment on
No,
what?
right, there's nothing,
There's nothing to throw darts at.
it's empty air.
And nothing that we have seen as a planning commission.
Right. Well, we
Which
could
I
cancel
think-
the public hearing and reschedule it for a later date.
I think we should do so. I just don't believe in having a conversation about nothing. You have to have something to throw darts at, to mark up and to discuss.
Can we ask Mr. Homier to produce this week and then you can send it to everybody that's on the planning commission?
He did send it all. I think I forwarded it to you last week.
Could have.
So
So we can send.
we
it to
do
the-
have the document.
Let's send it to the new
We-
chairperson and then he can review it and send it on.
Okay, will do.
I was out of the loop, so my apologies on that. So, okay, does that work for everybody?
Mhm.
Get it?
Yep.
We'll review it.
Yep.
Yes.
I said one final comment, if you don't have anything else. I want to say thank you, Chris, for serving as our chair. You've done a great job for a new guy and an even newer guy down here. Your professionalism, the way you've handled the meetings has been an absolute delight and much appreciated, I'm sure, by the commission as well as public. So thank you.
here.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes, well done, Chris.
Thank you all.
Good
Take the
job,
day
buddy.
off.
Yeah. Member Rissy.
Couple of questions, I guess, or not questions, things, but we usually have in the packet at the first meeting of the year, our bylaws, code of conduct, ex parte communication stuff, just as kind of like a review. If I realize we don't have it this time, but that might be something, I think it's good for us to at least see that, refresh everybody's memory on an annual basis.
Okay.
And so I think there used to be like a planning principles document or something the MSU published that was usually in there.
Okay, my
but-
apologies.
Just a thought you could look at any packet from a first meeting of the year from the previous.
I did
any
see it on there. I didn't know if it was because it was getting reviewed or if it was just,
We just kind of
Knowledge.
reviewed where we were at. And
Okay.
I think it's good because sometimes we pick up members midway through the year too. And I think it's just good for people
Continued
to get the
education.
refresher about as far as, what you can and can't talk about and with who outside of a meeting or, it's good to have those refreshers. So,
To that end, I did 2 trainings this year, one in Frankenmuth and one in Traverse City. And the McKenna Group, I believe I have this correct, as part of our contract with them, they offer a free training session for us as a whole. So should we schedule that?
Yeah.
That's cool. I did not know that.
Wow.
Great thing.
we are discussing also hosting potentially a citizen planner program with the Michigan Association of Planning, or sorry, Michigan State Extension.
Nice.
Good thought.
Okay.
Thanks, Madison.
Did you have anything else, Member Bernard? Nope. Anybody else have anything else? All right, it has been a pleasure. I will take a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Rango makes the motion, supported by future Chair Moxley. Have a good night, everybody. Congratulations.
Chris. You can do a year-end report at some point?